Alright, so this is gonna be me complaining about a very specific subject that probably does not affect a lot of people. So, out here doing a level cap that you guys probably already saw on the channel. I think I'm gonna release this after the level cap video itself. So one thing is how new ways of just keeping your frame alive with shield gating are becoming more known. More specifically, the use of arcane ages for your Warframe. That is pretty much keeping your frame alive for 12 seconds. It is RNG based. When you don't have the arcane buffed, any hit can end your shields. Your shields, then your shield gate will kick in, and you actually won't be able to trigger it if you don't take damage to shield. I think that's how it works. So the thing is, that is great. That is just something that allows you to bring a lot of frames into endurance missions. Not specifically disruption, but also other endurance missions like survival or whatever you want to do it. So that's a big key for survivability. Not only relying on your skills, but of course if you lose your shields entirely, you can still use the augur set casting ability, get your shields back, and get that arcane ages going again. But there is always a catch, right? The catch is, if we're talking a map like this, we're talking normal Grineer, and you're solo, because on a group nothing is too hard, especially solo. You're gonna have a terrible time with the Noxes. Not only Noxes, but enemy toxin weapons. Enemy toxin weapons is something that I'm kind of okay with it, but just getting one-shotted by Noxes sucks. It sucks really bad. Really sucks. So that, unfortunately, is one of the things that actually pulls your will or your interest on trying different builds down. I have probably 4 frames that I would really like to bring to level cap, that people have requested, that I've made builds. Some even are not on the list, but to be able to use them and to keep myself alive consistently, it isn't as chill or as effective as I would like, because at some point I'm gonna have some really bad moments. Oh, geez. I have some really bad moments because I'm gonna get a one-shot by Noxus, and that is not even an if, that is a when. And so, well, there is a disruption that you can do against a Grineer that doesn't have Noxus. That is Olympus on Mars. Still get some toxin procs here and there when you kill the ghouls, but it's not even as close to how bad Noxes are. But then you're restricted to only one mission, only Mars. Mars tile set for disruption can be a pain. To be honest, it can be a pain. So I feel like that's something bad. And yeah, I would like to. It comes down to so many problems, like with the game. Of course, this is something that is very specific. It's not a problem that's gonna affect a lot of people, but it's very frustrating too. You know, you feel your motivation goes down. You know, I could bring this amount of weapons here, but I don't with weapons and frames here, but I don't feel like doing it because, well, unfortunately, if I want to do it on a consistent way, I'm gonna have to use the same frames I've been using forever. That is something like Revenant, Ash, Loki, Octavia, maybe Rhino, you know, those frames that I've already did. So, fortunately, oh my god, I think something very interesting is happening here. So, yeah, it's about that. Yeah, plus the combo, that's the interesting thing. But yeah, I think that's bad. But if we are even to think on a way to counter that, oh, if you're not invisible, I don't think you can counter that. But there's no mods that are gonna save you from the toxin damage. You can still use protective sling. You're gonna have to use like spam Vazarin, and that's something that takes away from the whole fun. You're surviving, but you're being forced to do something to be able to survive. That's not fun. Yeah. If you don't, like, if I get out of my invisibility, I'll still survive for a few minutes, maybe, who knows, until my shield gating goes down, or I get close to a Nox, or even for this frame. Even if I have a weapon that doesn't have like a suppress mod or something so it doesn't make noise, I might get close to a Nox and still get one shot. That's a possibility. It would be much better if Nox had corrosive damage instead of toxin damage on this stug. But it is what it is. For us to be able to survive something like this, change the element of the weapon. I don't think they would ever do that, but it would be something interesting. And maybe add some other effect to make it as intimidating as it already is. Or they would have to start and fix the whole health tanking game and all that stuff. It's just really something that bothers me. And I wanted to share this, you know. I don't expect a fix for this. I think it's just a fad sack. Oh my god. A sad fact. A fad sack. Oh my god. Yeah, sad fact. Yeah. I think that's about it, you know. Yeah, that's really something sad. To be restricted to stuff, it always feels bad. Just in case I forgot to mention that the Hess part is great on dealing with acolytes. There it is. What about other factions? Toxin is still a problem against the infested. You will eventually just get one tapped, but I think that, I don't know, that might be not as problematic. Just think that Mars, I like the Mars tile set, but the Mars rooms can be a mess. They have these ones that are good, but there are ones that are just massive. Massive is a nice way to say. They're humongous. They're terrible. Too many exits, too clunky to move around. And since we're talking about being alive with a frame that relies on shield gating and having shields, it becomes even more problematic. So that's just what I think and what I feel about this. Is that it feels like if you wanna play with other frames, the struggle to reward ratio is just not gonna be worth. That's why, unfortunately, I keep doing a good amount of my level cap runs with the frames you guys have already seen, like Revenant, Ash, Octavia, Loki. These kinds of frames. Yeah, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Leave it a like and consider subscribing.